Hey guys, welcome back to Sam's Garden Project. It has been a while since I've made a video. Life has been super busy. I've had heaps of things going on at the moment. It's just been a very busy phase of my life and the garden has been neglected. I've spent the day topping up everything, weeding, making it all look pretty. I have been planting out veggies as they've been ready. So I've started my seeds a while ago. They've been growing. I've been planting them in the veggie beds. I haven't been doing any filming, but they've been in the beds and just growing along while I've been super busy and not having to like do much maintenance with them. They can just grow along in the background. So today in this video I thought we might just go on a bit of a tour of the garden and I'll show you what's going on. We are in early November at the moment, so it is towards the end of spring. We've got some hot weather coming up in the next week, so I'm just trying to make sure everything is like okay and well watered and that's not going to die in the heat. I've got my tomatoes in the ground and they're growing quite well as like zucchinis and lettuces and other things going on, but I'll walk around and show you everything. So let's go for a bit of a garden wander, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my video. Let's go. Alright, let's start at the first raised bed. As always, I've got my big tomatoes in here, so there's a bunch down this end, probably about 5 plants, and another 4 or so plants down that end. And these are either the I think mortgage lifter or the big pear variety, so there's a different variety on each end. And I'm going to plant some more stuff in the middle, so maybe like basil or companion plants, or maybe have like a pumpkin trailing over onto the rocky garden there, but we'll just see what happens with that. These tomatoes here were the first ones I planted in my raised bed. These ones are San Marzano and some tomato, so a good variety. You'll be able to see in my last video the stage I planted them, and they're actually about to flower. So they had a cover on for the first few weeks. I planted them a bit early, and I've just got a little bit of basil, some marigolds, and I've just planted some flowers, seedlings, that I had. I was trying to empty the tray. At the end there are my onions. I've just gone and cut out all the like the flowering stems or the scapes, so hopefully they bulb up. A few of them are bulbing up quite nicely, the rest of them are going to seed, so hopefully we can fix it up a little bit and get a couple of onions. So in this section here I've got a few pots. Each year I find that I want to do more and more and I haven't got enough space, even though I have quite a few raised beds. Things take space, they take certain conditions, and I had way more seedlings than what I could plant in those raised beds. So I've got a few pots here. That's my orange tree, which is just starting to flower and put on some new growth. I've got some individual pots here with some tomatoes. I think those in the little pots there have been volunteers, so we'll see what they turn into. A few strawberries, which I'm going to plant out. The tomatoes in this pot are, I think they're either one of big pear or like mortgage lifter or something. So there's some in there and then some in there, but they're different varieties, so we'll see. They're growing quite nicely. The overnight temperatures are getting like pretty warm. We haven't had any chills or frost for ages. It's been a bit cold, like crisp, like 6 degrees or so, but they've survived. Those ones there have survived, and yeah, we'll see what happens. In this pot here we've got some cucumbers. They have been a bit affected by the cold because they were only very little when I planted them out, but they're protected from the birds so they don't get dug up. And a few more tomatoes and some calendula in this big pot. This is what's left of my seed starting endeavour a couple months ago, probably now, about 2 months I think. And I've got a few calendula that I need to find a home for, some Lebanese cucumbers. I think this is a few cucumbers, cocazelle, and 1 tromboncino or 2 tromboncinos, but they're looking a bit sad, so I think I'm just going to compost them. These ones here are some zucchinis. I've already got a few planted already, and that's about where I'm at with my seed starting. In one of my last videos I went through all the seeds I started, so I had a tray of all flowers and a tray of veggies, and so now they're in the veggie beds. Let's come over to this one here. So this bed has zucchini and some lettuces. So the lettuces will be ready to harvest before the zucchini get massive, and I've got a little weeper hose like a little dripper hose. I might buy one more of these so that I can just leave them in the bed instead of having to move it from bed to bed if I want to just like water the soil rather than the plants. I know that this type of watering is especially good for tomatoes and zucchinis and things where the leaves don't like getting wet or they can cause like diseases or anything like that. So maybe I'll buy one or two more because I can just leave them in the bed if I need to. So we've got zucchini and some lettuces in this bed. I haven't done too much to it. It's still got calendula's taken off again. That was overwintered. I didn't pull it out or anything, it's just come back. Silver beet looking a bit sad. I do have some of this red snake beans in here. Along there, you probably can't see them very well. 2 rows of red snake beans, and hopefully they can climb up. I've got a bit of a wire trellis and hopefully they'll be able to climb up and have some nice, I don't know, red snake beans. I've never tried snake beans before, so oh well, just a bit of trial. Another thing I tried to do last year but it kind of failed was having pumpkins grow through here. So I've got some, I think these are Queensland Blues, 2 seedlings there in with the roses. I'm going to keep them watered. They get afternoon sun so they stay warm, and hopefully they spread out, cover this little rock garden because this is just wasted space. My chickens are out getting into things, and we'll see how it goes. Just another trial. And some, I think it's feverfew, pretty sure, in this pot here. Pear tree, not many flowers this year, as in my last garden tour you would have seen that. Plenty of almonds on the tree, but the birds all get them in January. We don't get very many almonds from them to actually eat, and things are looking quite good. It's a beautiful day here. The sun is out, not too hot, and I'm just enjoying working in the garden. Let's keep going. So I've got a grow bag of potatoes and I'm just slowly like topping that up so hopefully the potatoes can keep growing nice and big. Over here is a bit of a jungle with the borage everywhere and down there especially, but the bees are loving it, so I'll just leave it until it goes to seed a bit more. Apricot tree in the corner there, no apricots on it. I think it was impacted by the rains last year. I was reading an article how the weather the previous season affects the next future season's growth. Pomegranate's got a few flowers forming on it. It's only a few years old. And the peach trees and the nectarine trees are just plodding along. It's got lots of nice fruit on it. Hopefully we get a good harvest. We normally harvest these about 2 weeks into January, so I normally harvest them all at once. They all seem to be ready. We've got lots of flowers in the garden this year, which is another thing that I was really trying to work on to attract the pollinators and help make it pretty, add some colour. And as you can see, there is plenty of flowers. So there's no shortage of bees at the moment, which is fantastic. Alright, let's keep walking down. I've got my asparagus, and I came and harvested 3 spears this morning, so that's been trotting along quite nicely. Some calendula flowers. This is a plum tree that we planted in a few videos back, and I tried growing loofahs there, but I think I planted them out too small and too early because they died. So I've got some more, I think these are borlotti beans. They're climbing ones, so we'll have them climb up instead. And I've got some seeds germinating again for the loofahs, and we'll try them somewhere else. As well as another asparagus. There's a spear there which I can come and collect a bit later. Lots of really nice looking fruit on the peaches. So hopefully we get a good harvest, as I was saying. So in this bed here, it's got nothing in it at the moment. I think I'm going to repot my white sage into like a separate tub so it's not in my raised bed, because I didn't realize it gets so big. And there's just some like self-seeded flowers and kale, and I think kohlrabi I had in this bed during winter, so that's just kind of like re-sprouted as I chopped and dropped it, re-sprouted from the roots. So this bed is still yet to be planted, and I've got chilies and jalapenos, capsicums in my greenhouse. So my plan is to put them in this bed here. they get plenty of sun, they'll get all day sun, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a good crop. This bed here, we've got our carrots still. I'm just keeping an eye on these very closely because they've been through winter. So they've been through the whole cycle of days shortening and then days lengthening again. And generally when that happens, they can go to seed. So I'm keeping an eye on them, hoping that they get a bit bigger, but I haven't actually seen any seed shoots come through. They're looking quite good. So I'm just letting them get a bit bulkier, and I'll come out and harvest some of them, probably in a couple of days' time. And I've got my bush beans. So pretty much like a, I don't know, more than a third, less than half of the bed of bush beans. And I've got my spinach down the end there. So spinach is starting to go to seed too. It's getting a bit too hot for them, but that's okay. Plenty of things to come out and harvest in a couple more days. Let's move down. My rhubarb has taken off. This leaf is huge. My hand, huge leaf. I probably need to come and do a bit of a harvest. There's a seed like head or stalk that's coming through, so I'll have to be taken off. The quince tree is looking good. It's got a few fruit. There's one there and there's another one like underneath. And the same, there's borlotti beans, I think that's how it's pronounced, along the base. The birds come and dig it all up, scratch it all up. So I'm trying to keep an eye on them, make sure they're still on the ground. And the plan is for them to grow up, have some sort of climbing plant along this fence. So we've got borlotti beans there and borlotti beans there, and hopefully have some sort of plant growing on the fence line. This pear didn't have very many flowers on it, so I'm not expecting very many pears this year. And then this peach tree has heaps. I'll have to come and thin them once they get a bit closer. At the moment I'm just kind of letting nature happen. So as the fruit develop, that will kind of like abort the fruit that aren't going to make it, and it'll thin itself naturally. And if it doesn't, I'll come and thin it a bit more too. I think that is a bit too many peaches too close together. That's okay. In this bed here, I've got silver beet down this end, beetroot from I think autumn. I left them in because they were really small, they didn't form anything, and now they're going to seed, so they're going through that whole process. And we've got some lettuces which I planted not long ago, and some more lettuces at the back, and a few beetroots as well. So this is more of my like final like spring cooler weather crop. Once they are ready, we'll have them. I might do some lettuces or some greens in like a cooler place, but they won't survive summer, especially if we're going to have a very hot and dry summer that they're predicting that we're going to have. Now onto my final raised bed is my flower bed. So there's one celery that I planted that was like the base of a supermarket celery. So that's been in the ground and it's starting to take off, which is okay, which is pretty good. We've got a whole bunch of flowers in here. I'm not going to take the net off because I can't be bothered. You can see there's cosmos, there's some dahlias, there is rudbeckia, a few other things, borage, self-seed at the back there, that'll be coming out soon. And I'm just really excited to have a nice bed full of like cutting flowers so I can make some arrangements inside the house. The lemon tree is still chockers. Like I haven't even come out and harvested the whole thing. It's starting to have flowers on it again. So it's starting to flower. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just going to leave them on. They don't seem to be like falling off or anything, so they can stay on the tree until I'm ready to do something with them. Alright, spuds are just spudding, I suppose. Blueberries are being formed. We've got some blueberries forming. I will have to net them soon once they get a bit more tinge to them. At the moment the birds seem to be leaving these alone. They haven't found them or they're not ripe enough yet. But I am looking forward to these plants getting bigger and bigger each year and having a lot more blueberries. Same with this one over here. Different variety of blueberry, but you can still see the berries on it, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's move on to my passion fruit vine. That's what it's looking like. So it's taken off this year, which is good. Probably its third year in this spot, and it's gotten big enough now so it actually gets some sunlight. Lots of little baby fruits on it, lots of flowers on it. looking forward to having lots of passion fruit this year. Passion fruit is one of my favourite fruits, and you can literally just have it with anything, or even by itself. Yum. So that's looking really good. Alright, so that's what my garden is looking like at the moment. First week of November. Summer is coming. It's only a couple of weeks away. Officially summer in December in Australia. But my garden is well on track to having a good productive season when the proper heat arrives. So if you'd like to see more of my garden and how it transforms throughout the summer growing season, and also how we harvest and preserve the stuff coming out of my garden, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Thanks guys.